Alright, and welcome back to our third video of our Java programming course on CodeHub Learning. Now, in our previous video, we talked about the syntax of the Java programming language. Now, this is what we are doing. So let's run our code to see whatever we are outputting to our console. So we said that this line of code is actually writing the hello world text into the console. So I'm going to run it quickly here. I'll go to the top here. I'll have a play button there which says run code. I'll click on it to run my code. So I have my hello world text right here. So that is exactly what I have. You can also print out your name as we did in the previous video. I'm printing my name just to see that we can print any other thing on the console. We can as well print numbers, so I can say 3, I want to output 3 or 30 to the console, and it is going to do exactly that for me. So I have line 30 right here. I can also use it for mathematical operations. Let me say 30 plus 3, and I'm going to have 33 on the console. So now I have 33 on the console. By this type of coding, it is not the best way. Let me say it. The reason why it's not the best way, I'm going to show you very shortly. So I'm going to print my name right here, and I'm not going to print it once, so I'm going to print it multiple times. Okay, I'm going to print it multiple times. I want my program to print my name 5 times, so I'm just going to run it, and it is going to print my name 5 times. You can see you have my name printed 5 times here. Now later on, if I want to print another person's name 5 times, I may have to come and change this all over again. So I'll have to come and do this 5 times. So if I have the name written in 10,000 times, I may have to go through all the 10,000 lines of code to change it. This is not ideal, so if I have to change all the 5 to the new name, and then I can output all of them. Now you can see that this is quite tedious, and this is why the concept of variable exists. So we're going to talk about the concept of what variables. Now, how do we create a variable? Now, we learned that we've learned the different data types and other things. So to create a variable, first you need to specify the data of the variable you are going to create, or the value you are going to initialize to it. So if I want to set out a variable that is going to accept a string, okay, that is a textual data, it must be a string data type. So I'm going to start by saying string, and then string, and then I'll give the name of my variable, so string name, and then I'll initialize it to my name. So I'll just do this. So let me get rid of this code, and now don't forget your semicolon, and now I've created a variable with the name, and then the value, my Godfrey, which is my name. So in order to get access to this, we are no more going to print out Godfrey, but we are also going to use the variable name, the name of the variable. What this means is that the name Godfrey has been now put into the container name. So let's treat the name variable as a container, and now we have put the item Godfrey inside of it. So in order to access the item Godfrey, we need to call out the name of the variable. So I'm going to call the name of the variable right here, and now I can confidently print out the name, and now we can have here. Similar to this, I can copy this 20 more times, or number of times that I want, and still not have any effect. So the number of times that I want to print it, I'll just repeat it like that. So I have it here. In the future, if I want to change the name from Godfrey to Kofi as we did, I can change it once, and then it will affect all the other spaces. So once I change it once, it's going to affect everything, all the lines of code that contains that line, anything that you do. So that is the benefit of variables. Now we have different variables. You can create data types for all the you can create a variable for all the data types that we have. So you can create a variable with the int, call it number, or let me make it age. Okay, the name of the variable doesn't matter as long as it makes meaning. And I'm going to tell you what variable name makes meaning in the next video. So let's concentrate on this, and then in the next video I'll show you how we can create a variable that makes meaning. Okay, the naming convention that we use in variables. So I can say age equals 25, and that is my age. So I can also talk about the float. So I can say float grade equals 3.5. You know, float has point in within them, so double to float. Okay, so I'm going to use double at the moment, so let's use double grade here. And now we can talk about this. I can now print name, I can print age, and then I can print grade. So when I print it out, I would have all of them here. So Kofi with the age of 25, and then this. Okay, so that is the concept of variable. Now let's talk about variable name, how we can name variable. Most times you see people using variable names like x and setting out to 5. You can see people making name like string a, you know, you can see people do this, but it is not wrong actually, but it doesn't really help, because I always like to say that your variable names must make meaning for the thing that you're accepting, so that you'll be able to that is for good practices. Your variable names must always make meaning. No time for text characters that do not make meaning, like the X, like the A. It doesn't actually speak well of a good programming person. So I always say that your variable names must make meaning. So this is how we create variable names. So I'm going to create one more variable name with a boolean. So we start with boolean is student, and I'm going to set that one to true, and then we can print is student. That is a variable name. Okay, so I'm going to do exactly that. So is student here, and then we can have the values printed. So we have Kofi 25, 3.5, and then true. So in our next video, I'm going to talk about the naming convention and how to name our variables.